Omega Level Nerd D Square here. I want to talk to you about what has me really steamed in questioning the direction of the X-Men right now. Or maybe not the direction of the X-Men, but I have had a lot of others too. The X-Men are very uncharacteristic these days. All the way from Professor X's, doctrine of peace and protecting those that hate and fear them, that's gone. He's no longer operating like that. Wolverine and Cyclops and Jean Grey in some sort of polygamous relationship. Honestly, to me, it's like the main X-Men, a lot of them are just, very uncharacteristic right now. You can also look at how some of the villains are acting. And then Magneto, like Magneto has always ridden that line between hero and villain. Maybe not always, but at least in recent years, the past 10, 20 years, he's really been an anti-hero. But now that this Dawn of X stuff is going on, he's being hailed as like the biggest mutant hero that there ever was. So again, I know that Magneto has always worked for the betterment of mutants and protect mutants, but to see this whole island of Krakoa, basically worshiping him as the best superhero that there is, again, that's very uncharacteristic of the X-Men. And I certainly understand that things have to change. They can't stay the same forever. I definitely understand that. In fact, what I like about the House of X, Powers of 10, and Dawn of X is I've spent so many years reading X-Men at the brink of extinction. It is really great to see them get a win, to see them live without fear of death because of the resurrection protocols. All that stuff really is good to see. But some of the X-Men themselves, in fact, a lot of them, are just very uncharacteristic of their character, and it makes me think this is some sort of illusion, some sort of trick, whether it be by Xavier, Sinister, Apocalypse, or Magneto, who, may be selling this whole Magneto as the greatest mutant hero there ever is, so that he could revive the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. We certainly don't know. I hope there's some sort of reveal like that, some sort of veil that is lifted so that it all makes sense, because, I got to tell you, this X-Force, number 12, really has me steamed. And again, it's because the Krakoa at large is just, very uncharacteristic of the X-Men and the mutants that I'm used to. And particularly Beast. I don't know if you guys remember the character Dark Beast, but I can definitely see how Beast becomes this deranged Dark Beast character. It's almost like we're seeing him turn into it. Now, the X-Force is a clandestine operation. They are the Black Ops of Krakoa. And, we're in the 12th issue, so certainly they've done some shady things before. I mean, heck, Beast, in the very first issue of X-Force, arranged for Charles Xavier to be assassinated. And he did so because in his mind, it was what was best for Krakoa, so that they can understand that they're not impenetrable. They have enemies that are trying to get to them, and enemies that can get to them. And I kind of get that. You want to make sure and heighten the awareness of the citizens of Krakoa. But what we're about to go through today, it's absolutely just horrible, just out of character and horrible. So the first thing is that, Beast. So basically in the last issue, we saw these biologically engineered Russian dolls, these people that once they died, a little version of themselves popped out. Once they died, it was really, really, really crazy, the stuff that gets thrown at the mutants in Krakoa. But nonetheless, that issue number 11, concluded with one of those little Russian dolls getting a hold of the Cerebro sword and handing it over to Mikhail Rasputin. Okay, so X-Force or the X-Men, they need to find out like what's going on. Where do we find this person? Now we see here Sage is unconscious, beaten up. But very condescendingly, we see Beast like say, "Hey, I know you're really hurt. Hey, I know, but hey, I'm gonna put this biologically engineered thing on you that can keep you together so you can work because we need you to work right now, even though you're hurt." I mean, just very, very insensitive. And I know Beast has kind of been going this way for a while, but he just really is insensitive here. So the point, Krakoa, there now, you're all right. I wish that I could let you rest, Sage, but time isn't on our side. The Cerebro sword has been stolen. Krakoa has been data mined. And she's like, I don't think I can. You will. You must. When I told Healer I suspected you had a concussion and possible skull fracture, he supplied me with this biopack. It will fight for you, so that you can fight for us. I bet you're already feeling worlds better, am I right, Sage? So yeah, I mean, this poor girl just went through a traumatic event. She got injured, and yeah, Beast is like, okay, you gotta get up, you gotta do work. I mean, how insensitive is that? So yeah, Beast is really a bastard at this point. Now, another thing we learn in this X-Force comic is I just talked about Mikhail, and that's the guy in the red cape there that you see in the middle and bottom panels. He has a Cerebro sword. And for whatever reason, I mean, they really don't explain this much, but he just walks up into this Xeno headquarters, this group that is hell-bent on destroying Krakoa and the mutants, doing all sorts of biological weapon stuff. They're the ones that grafted Domino's skin onto people so that they could get past the Krakoan defenses. But yeah, he just straight up is like, he just kind of takes it over and like starts ordering around. He is a mutant. But for whatever reason, even though Mikhail Rasputin is a mutant, Colossus' brother, by the way, and magic, he kind of just takes over this group, this Xeno group that is, hell-bent on defeating Krakoa. So I don't know. That's really kind of weird. But nonetheless, so Sage is able to, pinpoint that it's Mikhail Rasputin who took the Cerebro sword. And by the way, what's so important about the Cerebro sword is that it has all the intelligence for the X-Men, for Krakoa. Okay? Now, they don't know how to access it. And that's why Mikhail gives it to the Xeno group there to kind of decipher and try to get at the data so that they can know everything that they need to know about the mutants and Krakoa. But nonetheless, so just really strange there that a mutant is now kind of in charge of Xeno, which is this anti-mutant, this hate group that is just completely hell-bent on destroying the mutants in Krakoa. So Sage does figure this out. He informs Beast, yep, Mikhail Rasputin and the Russians are the people that took the Cerebro sword. So what does Beast do? He starts gathering up basically anyone that has anything to do with Russia or the Rasputins. So we see here that he and Black Tom, they went and captured Omega Red, who was on Krakoa. And instead of, feasting on people and mutants, he feasts on the animals of the island, which is, of course, much preferable to him hunting mutants and humans. But nonetheless, because he's Russian, it could possibly give them information on Mikhail Rasputin. As you can see, they bind him up and take him in. And, he does take issue with it, and rightfully so. As he explains, hey, I've got immunity. What are you doing? But again, X-Force, and particularly Beast being so clandestine, they're like, that's too bad. You got to come with us. All right, now we're getting into the thing that really, really burns my biscuit, okay? Because Colossus is done dirty here. So Colossus is a very tortured soul. So he spends his time farming in the Savage Land with this girl mutant here. They have a pretty close relationship. So he's doing what makes him happy, being a farmer, getting his hands dirty, getting paint on his hands at night, having to clean that all up, rinse and repeat. I mean, it's what he's used to. It's what makes him happy after all he's been through. And we'll get into that. But as I stated, this is Mikhail Rasputin's brother. So what do? Even Wolverine, by the way, this is what really gets me. So Beast and Wolverine go to the Savage Land and they confront Colossus, who, by the way, is like, no problem. I'll tell you I have nothing to hide. I'll help you out, no problem. Well, they still see fit to put him in binders, even though Beast is like, listen, Colossus, I know you could break this at any time, but, please, can you just put this on? And he does. And what happens is they take him back to Krakoa. As Colossus, Beast, Wolverine, and Domino, which, I mean, Domino and Wolverine are very close to Colossus, so it's very weird that they would be going along with it. That's my biggest problem, is that they're just going along with this. How could they possibly tolerate seeing, for Domino, her on and off lover, Wolverine, one of his best friends and longest running teammates, how could they possibly stomach seeing Colossus being bound? First off, okay? But I guess where they draw the line is once they realize that Beast has made a spectacle out of this, he explains that the reason he made a spectacle out of this is he wants to make an example. Well, this does not make Wolverine very happy. Finally, he kind of comes to the defense of his longtime teammate Colossus. He punches Beast in the stomach, which I very much enjoy, and then he disperses the crowd as not to further embarrass his friend. But nonetheless, this issue ends with Colossus as well as Omega Red, but I'm not going to offend Omega Red. I'm not going to defend Omega Red. But Colossus, Pyotr Rasputin, is bound up, being treated like a prisoner in Krakoa among mutants just because his brother is Mikhail Rasputin, who currently has possession of the Cerebro Sword. This is fucking Colossus. He's been an X-Men since like 1978. He's been good-hearted and true, a wonderful teammate to everybody. Hell, at one point, he sacrificed his life so that an antigen for the legacy virus could be created and the whole mutant race could be saved. That's the kind of character and teammate that Colossus, Pyotr Rasputin, is. And even after he was revived, okay? Even after he was revived, when the X-Men called, he came. He was also supposed to marry Kitty Pryde, and she left him at the fucking altar, which to this day steams me. But he still worked with her. He went off the deep end a little bit, but he still worked with her. And then we learn in the first couple of issues of X-Force, with the Dawn of X shit going on, since Russia was trying to keep its mutants in Russia, Colossus went there and helped Russian mutant refugees. It cost him his life. The Marauders had to bring his corpse back to Krakoa so that he could be revived. Then once he was revived, he ended up going on a mission with Domino, which again is his on and off again lover. And she was missing half her skin at the time, so I mean she wanted to die and be revived. But even with that said, Colossus killed her. Like, he destroyed this whole train that had all these anti-mutant bioengineered soldiers on it, as well as Domino and himself. So he leaps out of the train, he destroys it along with Domino, but it's precisely what she wanted, and she gets revived with her new body, and now has all of her skin. So an X-Men that has done all that, one of the most kind-hearted, an X-Men that always willing to sacrifice himself for the good of others, is now being treated like a fucking criminal just because the Beast, X-Force, Krakoa, whatever, fucking X-Men, they have beef with his brother. So now they're going to detain one of the best X-Men to ever fucking exist. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I mean, the X-Men that we are witnessing now today with Hickman's Dawn of X is absolutely very, very different from the X-Men I grew up with in the 80s and the 90s. But this is horrible. And Wolverine, Jean Grey, Domino, they're just fucking sitting there watching it happen. That's bullshit. Something is wrong. The X-Men are broken. I'm not saying it's a bad story or bad writing, but I'm just saying I don't think these are the real X-Men, or they're under some sort of mind control. I don't know. This cannot be the new norm, where they're basically taking valuable allies, team members that have been through everything with them, gone through the ringer, sacrificed their own lives for the good of the mutants, and then this is how they treat him. Now again, or not again, but I will mention, for those of you that don't know, Colossus is my favorite X-Men. He's my favorite superhero. So I'm taking this, I'm feeling some sort of way about this for sure, but I don't think anybody should agree with this. And certainly not agree with the fact that Wolverine and Domino, two people that are really close to Colossus, are just fucking sitting there and letting it happen. Again, I know Jonathan Hickman is pretty long form, and this isn't written by Jonathan Hickman. I know I've mentioned him because he's the he's the Kevin Feige of the X-Men comics right now. This was actually written by Benjamin Percy, who has been doing a great job. But so I'm not saying this is bad writing. This is, certainly intriguing, and it is invoking emotions from me. And I know that is something that every writer really looks to do. But the X-Men are just fucking doing Colossus wrong. Beast is a complete fucking bastard. Wolverine should not just sit there and let them fuck with his friend like that. And yeah, Domino thought Colossus was good enough to be all up in her guts. So how is she gonna fucking sit there and let them just... I mean, she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But no, they should be fucking taking a stand. They should not fucking be letting this happen. And I know I'm cussing a lot, and I don't normally do that. But as I stare at this picture that I have on screen, it fucking makes me crazy. All right. Friday night, we're feeling fine, huh? All right, well, hey, thank you everyone for watching this video today. If you want to catch me some more, you can of course always come to my Twitch. That's Twitch.com/D-Square72, of course Twitter @D-Square72. But we do a podcast, Omega Level Nerds podcast, every Sunday at 9:30 live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Omega Level Nerds. And after that, the audio version can be found wherever podcasts are sold. So make sure and check out Omega Level Nerds on Twitch and wherever you can find other podcasts. What's a podcast? I don't know. All right. Well, hey, peace and love, and we'll talk to you again soon.